Today, Mercury stations retrograde, and it's going to be taking us back over some territory we have already covered. And if you've noticed just a bit of upheaval, of choppiness, of instability, of having a hard time finding where the ground is recently, it has in part to do with Mercury's opposition to Uranus, with Mercury joining Mars in Scorpio, also happened within the last few weeks, couple weeks. And Mercury going retrograde means we are going to be revisiting some of these themes, but this time we have an opportunity to go a little deeper into ourselves and explore where some of the destabilization is coming from and have a chance to rethink our perspectives. It's a lot to think about. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Sunday, November 9th. So we are going to be revisiting some old territories, some continuing and hopefully deepening into some of these energies. We also have on November 11th Jupiter stationing retrograde. Jupiter is in a trine with Saturn. So that uh, push and pull between the Saturn energy that likes to contract and limit and make things smaller and more convenient and efficient, whereas Jupiter likes to expand and explore and have a party, right? Indulge and explore all the possibilities. So when those two energies work together, they can balance one another. The Jupiter Saturn dynamic is really fascinating in how we need both, right? We need control and stability that Saturn provides. We also need that ability to expand beyond limitations and to believe in ourselves and to have hope and optimism for the future. And that Jupiter perspective gives us more of a bird's eye view, a bigger picture view of what is possible so that we can go beyond the Saturnian limitations. Anyway, when those two are in a trine, they are working fairly well together. They are communicating with each other. They are supportive of one another. So hopefully that means we will be able to work with find that place of balance between the limitations and our ability to grow and expand, but to do so in practical ways, in thinking about efficiency, right? And stay grounded and not, I mean, we can fly, right? Jupiter wants to fly. It has that higher perspective energy getting above the trees. But at the same time, if we fly too fast, too far without remembering what's important, we can get carried away. We can have that experience of overdoing it, right? That Jupiter is known for. So these energies working together. Anyway, as Jupiter stations to go retrograde in Cancer, we also continue to deepen into our places of belief, our assumptions, our paradigms, our perspectives, and have an opportunity to review, reconsider, and revisit those beliefs and assumptions that we may have. With Jupiter in Cancer, that has to do with caring, with healing, with feeling. So, how are we reviewing and revisiting what's important to us in terms of caring? Maybe how are we thinking about the best approaches to caring and what that looks like, and have this opportunity to rethink how we're going to approach our needs for caring for ourselves, but also our needs for caring for one another. and how we do that in the world. Themes that have come up in the collective have had to do with food, right? Food and people having the food that they need, with healthcare. These are all Cancerian themes. So I think we're going to continue to revisit our approaches and think about what is going to be more effective in terms of establishing ways of caring for one another that work better in the long run. Okay, so coming back to Mercury and Mercury stationing retrograde. So Mercury has in recent days and weeks come through a lot of upheaval, right? So it had its conjunction with Mars in Scorpio. That was kind of intense. And then it formed an opposition to Uranus, bringing some shakeup and having us need to rethink where we're standing, how we convey ideas, shakeups, lightning bolts, earthquakes in that area of communication and thinking. Because with Uranus in Gemini, we we're so what's coming up, right? Themes of AI and what's going on with that, right? That's a whole thing. But we can think about this for ourselves and how these energies show up in our lives. So, as Mercury retrogrades, we're going to revisit all of these things again. So, Mercury will have another conjunction with Mars as it goes, it'll have its retrograde, and then it'll have another third direct uh, hit, as we call it, another conjunction with Mars. So every time Mercury joins up with Mars, there's a little bit of this explosive need for direct, bold communication, impulsive communication, things coming out of our mouths that maybe we haven't thought through very carefully. So, with Mercury retrograde, it's like things could come up that are more still in that realm of being impulsive or direct or bold. But this time, it's more about how we're going to think about that, right? Where is that communication coming from? Is it coming from an emotional place? Do we want to think about that and explore that? Is it inviting us to deepen into a more authentic kind of communication? So those themes are going to be up, especially with all these factors, right? So Mercury is in Sagittarius as it goes retrograde and will be in Sagittarius when it joins up with Mars and opposing Uranus then will happen once Mercury goes back into Scorpio. So Uranus now at 29 degrees Taurus. So once Mercury retrogrades into Scorpio, it will oppose Uranus. Lots of technical details here, but the point is we're going to be revisiting a lot of the energies of shakeup that have been taking place in the world around us, in our own lives, in recent days and weeks. And as we revisit those, we have an opportunity to rethink how we approach them. And so that's what this Mercury retrograde gives us an opportunity to do. And Mercury is the trickster. So it likes to remind us that we don't know as much as we think we know. Right? So when we get a little bit too full of ourselves, a little bit too confident in what we think we know or how we think about things, Mercury will throw something in the mix that will remind us to be humble, to remember that we don't, there's always more that we don't know. And as we have this Mercury retrograde period, we have that opportunity to review what it is we know, what it is we don't know, and what it is we're learning, and how we can open up places inside of ourselves to explore what there is to learn about. And the themes that have come up recently around energies that are feeling a little bit choppy or hard to ground into, or in some cases, it's really felt to me like we've had Mercury retrograde already, like nothing can move forward and everything is complicated. And there are like, normally you have a problem that shows up and is like, you know how to deal with it and you go about solving that problem. And maybe it's annoying, but you have an opportunity to just fix it and move on. But what energies we've been having recently have felt a little bit more like there are multiple things going on at the same time, and you can't just solve one problem and move on. It's like different layers of issues that are coming up and things that have to be kind of sorted through and things that are actually really demanding our attention and focus and saying slow down, because what you thought you were going to do is not where you really should be focusing your attention, right? So, again, that humility of our thinking and how we're thinking we should approach things. This is a reminder to expand our thinking, to get into a bigger picture perspective, and to focus our attention on some of the deeper issues, right? Some of the places where we can make a difference that lasts a bit longer, that solves some longer term problems, that changes our thinking in ways that opens us up to really doing things differently in the future. So Mercury will go retrograde in Sagittarius on November 9th. Retrogrades back through Sagittarius, and it will hit Mars. So, second conjunction with Mars will be just, it looks like right around the 13th, 12th, or 13th of November, after Jupiter goes retrograde. And then Mars continues in Sagittarius, returns to Scorpio right around the 19th, forms its opposition to Uranus at that time. Again, a little bit more shakeup, feelings of things being destabilized, but at the same time, there's this invitation to look at it from a deeper place. How can you not just solve the immediate problem, but work on creating the foundations that will solve problems in the longer term, and really thinking in the big picture on this. So, and Jupiter's in Cancer, so how are you getting your needs met is also a factor in all of this, and especially when Mercury is still in Sagittarius. So on the 19th, when Mercury goes back to Scorpio, we dive deep. Scorpio energy it's that deep water sign. So it's taking us into the unknown. It's taking us into places within ourselves that are needing a deeper truth, a deeper place of knowing, connection to what has been unconscious, and bringing it into the light of day and the light of our own consciousness. Mercury retrograde will join then with the sun in Scorpio. And so it has its inferior conjunction with the sun. And that, let's see, when is that? That takes place right around the 20th. And joining up with the sun is activating our ability to communicate our own truth, our own essence, our own authenticity. And again, this is all an internal process, because Mercury retrograde is asking us to go deeper inside to better understand ourselves, our motivations, our thought process, all of those things. So, revisiting all of these, connecting with the deeper truth, working on the foundations of what we believe, what we think, why we think that, and how to shift our thinking in ways that can help us solve problems for the longer term. And then Mars continues in Scorpio. It reaches Venus, forms a conjunction with Venus in Scorpio, and that is around the 25th, somewhere around there, maybe the 24th. And really bringing in that Venus theme of what do you want? What are your desires, your wishes? What brings value to your life? How do you want to receive, right? And deeper levels, so deeper kinds of trust and intimacy, and those themes having to do with communication. And then Mercury continues in Scorpio until the 29th of November when it stations to go direct again in Scorpio. And after that, it will go back over all those same themes again, this time direct. So it will conjoin with Venus and then the Sun and then um, uh, it will go into Sagittarius. It will join Venus in Sagittarius, Sun in Sagittarius, and Mars in Sagittarius by that time after the end of November once Mercury is direct. So the point is here, and thank you for bearing with me through all of this. And again, Mercury will oppose Uranus again. So the point is that I want to get across is that we experience this need to deepen our understanding, our look at the foundations and motivations of our communication and where that is coming from to really reevaluate how we are approaching our thinking and problem solving in ways that can think long term and not in terms of immediate, like wanting to just fix the thing and move on. It's really inviting us to go deeper, to understand the foundations of why something is the way it is. And this is an inner process as well as we look within ourselves to ask those deeper questions. And what is motivating me? What is it I think and believe? Why do I think and believe that? And is there a different approach I could have in my perspective, how I'm looking at something, how I'm thinking about it, and how I'm seeking information or processing information or sharing information, all of those Mercury pieces about communication and how information gets conveyed from one place to another. On a more, what's the word, more everyday practical level, be sure to double check your communications while Mercury is retrograde, especially. It's a time when uh, miscommunications can happen, or communication may not land or may not be received the way it was intended. So double check, right? Is this what you meant? Are we on the same page? This is the information I have. Is that what you have? Did you receive my message, right? So double checking all of those questions and being careful not to jump to any conclusions like, oh, so and so must hate me because they didn't answer my question or get back to me or whatever, right? Double check. Go double check because maybe they didn't get your message or maybe it got garbled somehow along the way. So just double check, clarify, make sure you're on the same page, make sure communication is received and on both ends. Awesome. So that's what we want to think about with this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius and Scorpio. And during this time, all of those ways that we have felt some upheaval are going to be repeated, but in a way that gives us an opportunity to look at the deeper foundations of where those places of upheaval and things not exactly connecting the way they have in the past or the way we expect them to. the way that that is coming from a deeper place and how we can address that at deeper levels. So, thank you for being here. I'm Marina Orms. My website is astrologyheals.com, and I've got lots of great member content on my member site, transformationalastrology.com. I'm working on a series on the lunar nodes and how you can work with them in your chart to understand your evolutionary medicine and what is going to help you move forward and achieve the things that are important to you. Thanks for being here. I'm here every day with astrology for unshakable self care. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already.